Okay, Chapter 8, Developing New Products. The first thing I want to talk about is why you develop a new product. And a lot of it goes back to what we talked about with the marketing environment, cultural changes, technological changes, government regulations might change, things in the natural environment in terms of availability of uh, raw materials might change, um, this kind of stuff. So, and then of course your competitors, like what are you need to keep up with your competitors. But that whole idea, really, the technological is very important, and social, cultural changes, all of them are important. But why do clothing companies come out with different clothes every year? A, to sell more product, but also because people's tastes change. Why is there always so many cell phones, changing of cell phones and laptops and tablets and all that kind of thing? Because technology changes, and the culture wants changes as well. So just keep that in mind as we go through. Okay, so new product development strategy, developing new products with the firm's own research and development efforts. And then it's really important that when you create new products that you understand your customers and your competitors, and you also want to constantly be delivering this back to superior customer value. Okay, so we're going to go through these one by one um, with the new product development stages. You can read them: idea generation, idea screening, concept development testing, marketing strategy development, business analysis, product development, test marketing, and then finally, if all goes well, commercialization. That's when you actually bring your product to market. Okay, so idea generation, people sit around and come up with ideas, and if it's done well, there's no bad idea. You can either come from internal ideas, internally, um, entrepreneurship, or individuals who come up with a new product, and they're usually on their own. Corporations now, a buzzword in corporations is this entrepreneurship, this idea that um, uh, there are people within the company that are idea people and are constantly coming up with new concepts and ideas. Then external sources, your distributors, your suppliers might come up with some ideas that they know people are looking for. Your customers might tell you what they're looking for, and also what's going on in the minds of competitors. So once you come up with all this like lots of numbers of ideas, you go through screening, and it's usually decided by a committee. What's feasible, what's not. What seems feasible, what doesn't seem feasible. Maybe what they've tried before, they've tried before and they want to try again. So, is it worth doing? So then you look at the product concept, um, concept development and testing. So the it's still very theoretical. Um, and you talk about it in terms of the consumer. What is it that the consumer wants, and how you're going to add value? What's the potential image of the product that you want to create? That kind of thing. So that's again part of concept development. So, and then you find out. You talk to customers and see what is it that's most appealing to them. And again, this is still very conceptual and the theoretical. So then you go out and you actually test them. You focus groups, surveys. You talk with people, and you ask what their reaction is to it. Would they like this product? Do they want onion flavored M&Ms, or do they not want onion flavored M&Ms? Chances are the answer would be no, but hey, they had to find out. Looking for a whole grain cereal or not looking for a whole grain cereal? Are people interested in electric cars or not interested in electric cars? To ask people. It's part of research. It goes back to the whole research thing. Okay, then market strategy development. Again, it's what we were talking about in Chapter 6 about determining the strategy. How are you going to segment the market? Who's your customer, and how is your product different from other products that you have and from other products that are on the market? You're also going to talk about what your pricing strategy is going to be, where you're going to sell it, how you're going to sell it, what your budget's going to be, profits, long-term profit goals, that kind of thing. All right, and then this is the business analysis, is when you start crunching the numbers. trying to find out, can we afford it? Can we afford the materials? Is there enough of a market out there for it? The people who are the potential customers, do they have the money for it? Do they have the need for it? So is it something that's actually going to be workable? All right, test marketing essentially is when they find an area that has a similar demographic. They're not going to release it to the entire market, um, their entire potential market, but they might go to a smaller market that has similar characteristics to how they have uh, defined it. And do people actually want to buy it? So, for example, Western New York is a target market, is a test market for certain products, and because of whatever our specific demographic and maybe our income level, our education level, that kind of thing, the age group. So they feel like if it can survive in these smaller test markets, that will tell them, do they need to tweak it before they put it into the larger market, or can they just put it out into the market that way? Okay, and then finally is commercialization, when you actually launch the product and you actually say, okay, but now you in the entire market that you're going after. It takes a tremendous amount of marketing effort to work on that. Okay, let's talk about the product life cycle. It's determined in terms of profits and sales. Now, this chart is all nice and neat, and there's specific widths to the introduction stage and the growth stage, that kind of thing. But it's different for every product. And a product can spend an introduction phase for a long time, or it can immediately go into growth, or it can stay in growth for a long time or a short period of time. It kind of depends. Now, we're going to talk about this later, but do you remember when we were talking about different types of adopters? We have the innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and the laggards. All of those types of customers are going to fall into different, buy during different product life cycles. Okay, so I'm going to skip. I should have switched this and I didn't, but I'm going to skip the next slide, and then we'll go back to it. But these are some nice charts. These next two are nice charts. They're right straight from the book. And it talks about what a product, how things are different in each part of the life cycle. So the next two slides, this one and the next one. As I said, this is straight from the book. So they look at the characteristics, sales, cost, profits, customers, competitors. Well, how does it change during each section? So if you see here too, it talks about customers, this line right there, the customers. Yeah, there you see those categories, the innovators, the early adopters, the early and late majority, and then the laggards. So it's a way, and as I said, this is not all neat and clean and tidy in every situation. All of this chart and these theories are a way to help the marketer make decisions. So they know if they see, we looked at the profits and the sales, if they see sales maybe lagging, they might say, oh, like maybe we are falling into the getting to the end of the maturity, and so we should start to think about our cost structure. We should start to think about how we're going to, what our goals are going to be, how we're going to communicate with them. And this is just a second chart going through the 4 Ps, the marketing mix, the product, the price, the place, which is distribution, and then advertising and sales promotion is the 4th P, which is promotion. So again, it's a guide. These are all guides to help people, as I said, make decisions, help marketing managers make decisions and determine how they're going to handle situations. Okay, so let's go back here. Styles, fashions, and fads. So, and again, a way for marketers to make decisions and decide, and production levels and that kind of thing. So a style is a generally accepted mode of expression. So you could say that, clothing, there's formal and there's informal. Or furniture, there's formal and there's informal. Like now people dress more informally. So if it goes, and maybe people eventually will start to dress more formally. So it kind of goes up and down through time. Fashion is a currently acceptable style. So, hoodies, for example, or, what's popular now is athleisure wear is very popular. So that's the fashion. And then a fad is something that has a temporary moment of high sales and then declines quickly. I'm just thinking about this right now, like Beanie Babies. Those could have been a fad. those bracelets that were the animals. I forget what they're called, but that would have been a fad. Those are things that just only are for a brief period of time. High sales, peak at high sales, and then drop really quickly. Okay, so we're going to skip through these then. Okay, all right, so again, we always like to talk about social responsibility. We like to talk about public policy issues, making sure that you're not, taking advantage of people or taking advantage of people. You want to also always looking at regulations. Baby car seats for children, for example, constantly, those are constantly changing, so they're constantly having new baby seats out. Patent protection is very important. That there's a certain period of time where you can't sell the process or the recipe or whatever belongs just to one person. You want to make sure you have fair product warranties. You want to make sure that there's quality and safety, that kind of thing. You don't want to take advantage of underrepresented or disadvantaged customers, that kind of thing. You just want to make sure you're not sending out a bad product. There was an issue a couple years ago with Fisher Price with the paint on the toys that had lead in it or whatever, and kids are always licking toys, so you don't want to make sure that these things are safe. And there is marketers have a lot of responsibility to their customers and to the community at large. And then finally, when you're talking about products, you want to think about international considerations. So the classic example is, does McDonald's sell hamburgers in India? And the answer is no, because people in India, generally speaking, are vegetarians and they don't eat cows. So you want to think about those things. You want to think about, size of cars, for example. The price of gas in European countries is very high. And not only that, but the roads are small. So you're not going to sell a big car over there. You're just going to sell smaller cars. So you want to make sure that if you do expand internationally into a global firm, that you understand their culture and that you are providing products that fit into that culture. Okay, so that wraps it up for Chapter 8. And we'll see you back with Chapter 9 when we're talking about price. Okay, thanks, guys.